Welcome back to the Animator Guild podcast, the best show to listen to when doing your in-betweens. For this episode, we have a special guest. Yushin7 is a Serbian artist and animator who has been a long-time contributor to the Animator Guild monthly challenges and to the Animator Guild Short Film Contest 2020, where she came in close second with her short film Thank You Goodbye. Some of you who are listening to this on its release will be hard at work on your Animator Guild contest submissions for the 2021 film contest, getting it finished before the deadline. So I thought it would be a good time to... Welcome to the podcast, Gordana, aka Yushin7. It's really good to be here. It's been, I think, a year since you submitted your amazing entry to the Animator Guild contest. So it's called Thank You Goodbye, and anyone who's been listening to this and hasn't yet seen the contest should definitely go and do so. And we're going to be talking about that here, and we're going to be asking Gordana a bunch of questions. What were we talking about before we started this? The weather. And
the weather, yes.
You are in Serbia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're relatively close by. Yeah, which is very good as far as time sync comes into play.
Do you live in the city or do you live rural?
I live in the main city, in Belgrade.
Do you see a lot of interest in animation now?
Well, there is. I think there is art scene over here, but I'm not really aware of it that much. I don't really go out a lot. I don't follow what's going on here. So we do have some film festivals. I think one is called Balkanima. That's the one I know of. It's the festival where you can see a lot of those weird artsy movies that usually leave you very, very drained when you leave the theater. Like, what the fuck did I just watch? Kind of thing. But students from my faculty often apply there, and their movies can be seen there, and from the other countries in region. That's the only animation festival I know of. But I don't know for other stuff.
Your faculty?
Yeah. I finished the Faculty of Applied Arts in Belgrade. I studied book design, traditional printmaking and illustration.
Oh, wow.
For 4 years. We do have the department for animation as well, but I don't think I would get much out of it, personally. I learned a lot more over here than I would over there, but that's also a thing that exists.
Yeah.
And before that, I studied in high school graphic design. So I started my art education as early as high school, luckily. And after that, after the faculty, I tried applying to master studies, but I didn't get a scholarship, so I took a year off, not knowing really what to do, because I kind of did an art test of sorts to see what my potential job could be for one of our prominent book publishing companies. And let's just say I really did not like the idea of having to do stock photo book covers for telenovelas in a form of book.
Right, yeah.
So I kind of have a bit of existential crisis because I don't know what else am I going to do here. And I remember that I saw we have few gaming companies that I could apply to.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to prepare a portfolio for that. Because my dad was nagging at me to either get out and find a job or take master studies. I was like, I don't want to do either, but okay. So I was preparing for that, and to my surprise, I got the job on the first try. And it was to be storyboard animatic artist for Hopa games.
Oh, that sounds pretty ideal.
It was a really interesting experience. I kind of rediscovered animation through that in a way.
Yeah. What kind of games do they make? Like, what are the kind of themes?
Well, at that time, we were well known for doing those hidden object puzzle adventure games. You know, those that have really super rendered backgrounds where you have to look for stuff until you go blind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they usually have some storylines in them, and there are cutscenes between chapters, and I was doing animatics for that.
Oh, that's cool. That seems like there are like a lot of cutscenes within games, right? And so they must need a lot of animation work for them.
Depends on the technique. These were very, very limited, simple animations. kind of like puppet animation in a way, in After Effects. So I was sort of limited by that, but yeah, it was doing the job. I mean, you can look up, I don't know, Mystery Case Files or Hidden Expedition or something like that, because I remember working on those titles.
I'll definitely go check them out. Yeah, I think it's quite recognizable that with your style you have this kind of illustration first, or not illustration first, but like if you paused it on a frame it would look like a painting or something, and so it's quite recognizable that you have that illustrative style.
Well, yeah, I mean, I did start on DeviantArt, of all places. That's where I hung out the most.
Right, yeah.
DeviantArt, then conceptart.org and similar forums. That's all I knew really until recently. Like, I wasn't aware that animation community existed at all until recently.
Yeah, like DeviantArt used to be like one of the biggest hubs of artwork on the internet. I'd say it seems to have changed a little bit now with the rise of things like ArtStation and Behance and YouTube as well. You have a YouTube channel as well, and I was actually researching by just watching your videos. It's some very fun research, just, you know, while eating breakfast, just like, oh yeah, let's watch another one of YouTube 7's videos, and they're really good. So I would urge anyone who's listening to this, and if you're curious and if you've seen Thank You Goodbye, then definitely go check out the YouTube channel as well, because it's just really chill as well, and you get to hear the thoughts behind the artwork, which I really like and appreciate. So yeah, thanks for making YouTube videos. I know recently you've been like a little bit inactive on there, but I'm hoping that you'll, you know, make more.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I usually make one a year, so maybe I'll soon make something and then I'll disappear again, but who knows.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very casual channel.
Yeah, it is casual, but I kind of like that. I like the chill energy of it.
Yeah, I would say that's lack of editing on my part. But, oh well.
Yeah, with me I take it like I get in my head about it and I'm just like,
yeah.
I have to get straight to the point, but I think I lose something in that, you know, the relaxing nature of it.
For me it's just being lazy, because I just can't be bothered to edit. Like, you'd think I know better. I had photography in my college. I learned all this stuff, but nah. I just record, cut out unnecessary things, and put something in the back, and that's all. But maybe I'll put more effort into it. I don't know.
I think it's worth it, just coming from someone who did stick through like the, you know, first 100 videos put onto YouTube, and it was like a grind, and it took a long time, but then it starts to pick up. So I think yours would start to pick up if you kept going with it. I mean, in terms of like numbers of followers or views and stuff. Yeah. But I wanted to ask you about your film. So it's called Thank You Goodbye. It's a short film entirely made by you, by Cortana. It was very close between second and first in the Animator Guild contest 2020. It was a really good experience, and I think everyone watching was like quite amazed by it. And some people had different interpretations of it. Some people were confused by it. I remember you saying that some people didn't understand it, but I noticed that even the people that didn't necessarily understand it 100%, because it is quite subjective, they still understood it on an emotional level. They were like, that was really beautiful. So I think it achieved something for everyone, I would say. Could you talk about perhaps your like motivations for making Thank You Goodbye? What started it? What sparked this in the first place?
Well, I kind of have two motivations behind sticking through making that film. First, most intense one would be, I guess, I had this need to give proper attention to some of these recurring thought fragments of my mom, who passed away a long, long time ago when I was like 5. The older I got, the less I thought about her, but for some reason in the past few years I would find myself, for the lack of a better word, triggered more often around Mother's Day and topics around motherhood and similar. Since I kind of have this OCD-like brain tendencies, my brain would then spin those few, at this point, just snapshots of memories I have of her, and it was starting to get really annoying. Like I couldn't really get them out of my head. It was really getting disruptive. And since I already have a habit of digging around subconscious mind, poking in the shadows and such, I knew that if I don't address this properly, it will only get worse, but I didn't really know how to approach it because it was a new layer of all the issue I already worked through, but only new emotion about it was brought up to the surface that I wasn't aware it was there before. I was kind of skeptical about using art as a therapy because, like, I've been drawing since I was little. What's special about that? But art is, at the end of the day, a tool just like any other, and I never really used it specifically for that purpose. I accidentally explored that on a whim for our February storyboard challenge, which was 1 month before contest announcement. And that's when the spark was born, like, hey, maybe I could like try exploring it in this manner, because I was noticing I was feeling some kind of relief, but I wasn't sure about it. I was too busy with things and all that. But then 1 month later, the announcement for the contest came out, and I took it as a sign, and I was like, yes, this is a sign. It will be worth to commit to this. Like, well, and second reason would be the one that I was and still am in the process of shifting that from that toxic perfectionistic mindset that is the root problem for many artists. And one of the methods for breaking that pattern is to force yourself to finish things no matter what the end result is. And for me, that started with one of those monthly art challenges like Inktober. I partook in Halloween specifically and Drawtober, but the most impactful one was Journey June challenge hosted by Cloverkeen and Galvasaur, where we had to use daily prompts based on basic hero's journey and complete a draft for a comic for that month.